What's up guys, Ryan here from Always Prepped, and I want to do this week's video on, I want to start a little bit on gun safety and proper ways of using a gun. Also, it's starting to get a little chilly out here, and I want to also kind of start doing a series on cold weather. Now, it may seem kind of a boring topic, but I promise I will make it not boring. Survival is not just about shooting a gun, but that's going to come into play, and it could come into play. In a survival situation, you may have to reach for your piece and use it under stress with adrenaline pumping. Alright, so I'm up here. Here's my friend Mike, and I'll have him talk here in a second. I know this may not be the most exciting part of survival, is learning gun safety, but again, it's so important. When in a survival situation, you may have to use it and not be able to think. I'm handing this over to Mike, and he's going to walk all of us through this.
Thanks,
Mike?
Ryan. So, he's absolutely right. Gun safety is extremely important because nobody likes to shoot themselves, obviously. So we're going to work on that. But the very first thing we're going to do is refine his position. You spoke about it in the comments section, and we're going to actually do it right now. So go ahead and assume what you think is a good firing position.
Hang on.
So that's a good start, really good start. Your back's not too far back, but I want you to kind of be leaning forward. Be aggressive about it. You want to assume an aggressive stance at your enemy, and that's a good thing because it reduces recoil as well, keeps you in balance. Now, your knees, they're a little rigid. Make your knees nice and loose. You want to have a loose firing position. It may seem counterintuitive, but the looser you are, the steadier that weapon is going to be in your sights. The knees, that's a very important thing. A lot of shooters, you find them rigid, and the first thing to go rigid is the legs. People will even lock their knees and pass out on the line. It's happened before. That's not a good thing. So keep your knees nice and loose, keep your body nice and loose, even your hands around that trigger guard, around your hand guards, keep them loose. That looks pretty good, fairly good. As long as you stay aggressive into your weapon like that, you can't be blown back by it, and you also present more of a threatening image to the enemy. That's about right. I think that this firing position is something that we can move forward on. We're going to do some live fire later on, and I'll give it back to Ryan now. Take it away, Ryan.
All right, first of all, Mike, why don't you tell us a bit about your qualifications when you served and exactly what you did on the line in the firing range?
Well, I was an air winger. For all you hardcore grunts out there, you can have your little chuckle now. So I was an air winger, but I served on a range, Hathcock Range, San Diego, MCAS, Miramar East. And I worked my way up. I started as a line coach. I eventually ended up being the line staff for that range. And I've learned all the tricks of the trade, everything about firing positions, natural point of aim, everything about keeping your sights clear in the front and keeping your target blurry, all that good stuff.
Now, before we came up here, we made sure that my weapon was clear, and this is obviously something that we all want to do. In fact, there's not even a magazine in my weapon because we're just doing this to just aim.
The Marine Corps operates on 4 weapon safety rules. Really, there's a 5th unofficial rule, but that one's a little different. I'll go through them real quick. Rule number 1, treat every weapon as if it were loaded. Nobody wants to shoot themselves in the face, so you wouldn't point a loaded weapon at your face. You treat every weapon like that. You'll never shoot yourself in the face. Pretty self-explanatory. Weapon safety rule number 2, never point your weapon at anything you do not intend to shoot. Obvious, very obvious. Don't do it. Just don't point it at your friends, don't point it at your enemies unless you're going to kill your enemies, then go ahead and do it. Rule number 3, keep your finger straight and off the trigger. It's called trigger discipline. Keep it straight and off the trigger until you intend to fire. That means keep it straight. Don't touch the trigger. It's just important not to do that because if you negligently fire your weapon, who knows what you'll hit? Who knows what you're pointing at? Weapon safety rule number 4, keep your weapon on safe until you intend to fire. If you don't do that, like, what is the point of having a safety? Those are the 4 weapon safety rules that the Marine Corps abides by. If you can follow them, it's very unlikely that you will mishandle a weapon. That 5th and unofficial rule, know your target and what lies beyond it. If there's an innocent behind your target, say you're an enemy combatant is in front of you and there's an innocent civilian behind them, obviously you're not going to shoot your combatant now. You might wait a few moments, time your shot. That way somebody doesn't die needlessly at your hands because you couldn't wait to kill the enemy.
If you haven't seen some of my videos, obviously check out my videos because this is not just about firearms or firearm safety. This is about survival, but firearms is an important part of that and one thing that you're going to want to train with if the time ever does have to come. So right now we're going to head down where you can see below us, and we're going to do some shooting. We're going to work more specifically with my firing position and actual fire, because we got plenty of ammo with us. So let's go ahead and let's head on down there.
So now we're here on the firing line. I got Ryan behind me. He's in a standing position right now. We're going to refine his rifle position. A rifle position when shooting is a little bit different from a shooting stance when you're shooting a pistol. So we're going to refine his position and come up with something great. This happens to be my specialty. I'll turn it over to him now. Ryan, go ahead and assume a good stance, something that feels comfortable to you. Alright, now the first thing we're going to do is we're going to refine where this buttstock is. We've got to put that into the shoulder. Bring it down, bring it deep into the shoulder, just like that. You want to keep that in the shoulder because that's your anchor. As long as it's there, your rifle's going to aim truer. Now at this time, look at the footwork. The footwork's going to need a little adjustment. Your non-dominant foot, your left foot, I want you to bring that forward a little bit. You want to assume a good aggressive stance, and that includes putting a foot forward when you're shooting a rifle. So keep that foot forward and adjust your right foot to make it comfortable, something that you can aim the rifle nice and steady. That looks a little bit better. Remember to keep those knees nice and loose, always a loose firing position. Now let's adjust the elephant in the room here. Your back is way out of alignment. Remember to lean into that weapon, keep it as straight as you can. That's a little bit better. That's a little bit better. We're getting there. Now, you'll notice his head is kind of canted over. That's not the best way. The best way is to get that rifle butt deep into the pocket of the shoulder so you can get that chipmunk cheek. And this rifle is even equipped with a little shelf to put your cheek on. It's very useful. So that's looking a little bit better. Yeah, that's looking a lot better actually. You have a good sight picture? Good sight picture, all right. So this is something that we can start on. We can adjust this. He's going to do some live firing here, and then we're going to adjust to make his shots better and better until he comes up with something that he can take off with on his own. Typical way we teach our Marines in this country. All right, I'm going to bring out some live ammo now. Go ahead and load up a round directly into the chamber. Remember always when we're doing live fire exercises, ear pro is a must. Always a must. Protect your hearing. We've gone over a firing position. Something good to start on. He's going to assume it. Looks pretty good. Good rifle stance. Good rifle posture. Are you seeing a clear sight picture?
Yes.
Very good. At this time, he's going to actually take a first shot. This is a high caliber rifle, and this is a little bit different from your typical AR situation, but it's very good for marksmanship. Extremely good for marksmanship, the high caliber rifles are. It teaches you good control. There it is, first shot. We're in the refining process now. He hit his target, I assume.
Yeah, it's gone. It's gone.
It's dead. That's 338 Win Mag.
The target is gone.
It's gone, though. So that was pretty good. Yeah, you didn't anticipate. That was a good thing. I thought you might drop your muzzle down in anticipation of the recoil. A lot of new shooters do that, but you're no new shooter. You have a lot of experience in this, and you did not. So that was good. Your posture, good. How did it feel? Did it feel comfortable?
It did once I got it, and once I exhaled, it was just, it was very comfortable. Yeah.
Very good. So you're on the way then. This is how you refine your position. You do what's comfortable. Furthermore, he said something good. He said as soon as he exhaled, it started to feel good, and then he took his shot. Breathing is very important. That's something we'll go over in a later segment, but as long as you're doing that good breathing, it's another good tool to make sure you shoot straight.
20 years of not regularly shooting a rifle has put me way out of practice, and that's why practice is so important, so that this becomes second nature. Let's go ahead and move on to what we were talking about up there on the hill with pistols. I think that that's going to be a little easier. Pistols I do fire quite a bit more regularly than I fire rifles, but we will be moving on to more rifle stuff later on. We'll be having a lot of fun on this channel with rifles, guys, trust me. We're going to go ahead and we're going to put away the, what is this? This is a
338 Winchester Magnum.
338 Winchester Magnum. Yeah, I suppose if you want to take down an elk or something, this would be more than adequate.
The old Hoa model 1500.
Or if you want to put a hole in some AR 500 body armor.
Or if you'd care to blow somebody's head off, it's good for that too.
It could do that, but I do not advocate that in survival, unless necessary.
Only if necessary.
All right, let's move on to the pistol. Okay, great. That's a cut. All right, first we want to make sure the weapon is clear. We know we're handling an unloaded weapon. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to put in a magazine. Okay, the weapon is hot now. I'm going to get in my firing position, which he showed me.
Pretty good, pretty good. Remember to keep it nice and aggressive. Careful now. You see the shaking in his gun. That's when you want to back off your shot and then reset. That's good, that's good. Pretty good, pretty good.
I'm trying to remember to bend my knees and lean forward into the shot.
It's a difficult maneuver to master, this firing stance, but remember to take breaks. Always take breaks when you're firing, unless it's a combat situation, that's different. But you're going to find that you shoot better if you take a step back every once in a while and take a breath.
Okay, I'm going to fire again. I'm going to draw from the holster, bring it up, and we're clear there.
Pretty quick draw, pretty good posture. Need a little work on the hands there. You're squeezing pretty hard. I can tell that you're squeezing hard because your pistol is shaking in your hand.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's hard to aim a good shot when the pistol's shaking. That's a good rule of thumb. When you're holding your weapon, if you can see the marks on your hand from the guard on the pistol grip, then you're squeezing too hard. If you can see those marks on your hand, you're squeezing too hard. So make sure you keep it nice and relaxed, always straight shooting.
We're gonna have a lot more stuff like this on the channel, as well as survival tips and just general overall life hacks for getting by in the winter, especially coming up because winter is coming to the Rocky Mountains here. We're gonna have a lot of winter survival tips. Survival tips are the basic tools that we have, and also more firearm stuff, especially as we next time we'll probably have different weapons out here. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. I'm Ryan, this is Mike with Always Prepped. Guys, we will catch you all next time.